Good afternoon, everyone, on this good Monday. Today is May 5th, 2025. It is Cinco de Mayo. Shout out to everyone celebrating. I just wanted to go over a few things today, nothing too major. Anybody that is going to be signing up for the new classes, stuff like this is going to be very important for you to take with you. I wanted to talk about self-emotional regulation. We are a people that do go through a lot of stress. A lot of things that give us pressure. And some of it is actually unnatural. But emotional regulation, once you are able to do it for yourself, it is going to be a daily tool to help you live with more intention, clarity, and peace. Emotional regulation is the ability to understand, manage, and respond to our emotional experiences with wisdom instead of reactivity. When you react to things, you actually buy the experience. When you are able to regulate yourself, you change the experience. You make it a more peaceful one for yourself. Emotional self-regulation is very important, but it can't be done without some form of emotional intelligence. We all have the power to do this. There's a lot of times where us as humans, we do seek outside sources in order to help regulate us or validate us so that we can feel properly assessed or tended to. We go through a lot of things that we don't control and can't control. I personally believe that in order to properly regulate your emotions, you have to understand it's not about suppressing your emotions at all. You don't have to pretend like everything is okay. You have to acknowledge what you feel, allow it to move through you, and acting on your emotions in a way that align with your values and goals. So, for example, feeling anger is a secondary emotion. Anger comes when either you feel unheard or threatened. And it's how we respond to that anger that defines our emotional health. So instead of yelling or shutting down, regulation means noticing that the heat of that emotion, breathing through it, and choosing a response that doesn't harm ourselves or others. That is the difference between reacting and responding. One is automatic and the other is conscious. You understand what I'm saying? Another reason why emotional regulation matters is because it affects everything from our relationships to our decision making to our health and overall sense of well-being. It plays a huge part in our program. If you don't learn how to properly regulate yourself at any given moment throughout your lifetime, there's going to be a lot of things that are just illusions that are going to be hard-coded into the way you perceive reality. So when we can regulate, or at least begin learning how to, we create space between the trigger and the reaction. And that space is where peace lives. That is where your power resides. That is where your control is. Emotionally regulated people are not emotionless. They are emotionally intelligent, which means they can feel deeply about things and still stay grounded. Studies even show that strong emotional regulation skills are linked to lower levels of anxiety, higher resilience, better sleep, and healthier relationships. We all have emotional triggers. Maybe it's being misunderstood, feeling ignored, or facing uncertainty of some sort. The first step to emotional regulation is simply awareness. Pay attention to when your body tenses, when your breath shortens, or your voice gets sharper. Those are signs that you are dysregulated. You have to ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Or what does this remind me of? And sometimes, what do I need in this moment? This gentle self-inquiry brings us back to the present and ultimately back into ourselves. Without doing this, you will not be centered into the self. You will spread your energy thin and give its power away to sources that don't generate any power for you, directly or indirectly. There's a few techniques that you can use. My personal favorite is breathing. Conscious breathing. You know, the breath is the bridge between the body and the mind. So, me personally, I do breathing exercises. Sometimes I inhale and exhale 8 seconds at a time. So I inhale for 8 seconds to 10 seconds and exhale for 8 seconds to 10 seconds. This calms my nervous system. You know, your nervous system has muscle memory just like the brain. It is a part of the brain. So a lot of these things that are triggers is actually subconscious resistance to things that the nervous system doesn't feel calm in. So the nervous system is a part of the brain, which means that it is programmable and teachable, just like the brain.